Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
Who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminally Reacts, CLR. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Means I go across the street to my federal and state courthouse where I actually try cases. Now, here's the deal. This is Johnny Depp Part 2. This is the lawsuit between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Now, in our last episode where I talk about this case, I talked about how I didn't think it was smart for him to sue her, and I thought he was looking bad, and I still kind of think some of that. But I've watched quite a bit. I haven't watched every gavel to gavel, but I've watched quite a bit of the trial. Let's make a few observations about Johnny Depp just off the start. First of all, I think he is absolutely fucking hilarious in the courtroom. We'll play a few of these clips about him and show you kind of what I'm talking about.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. Again.
Okay. So, the boss.
He said, yes, they had. Okay. It appears that Miss Heard had told...
Hearsay or...
Apparently a statement by...
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right.
But, they try to go for the jugular, and I think when you're building a case, they really have to demonize, her side has to demonize him. And I think he's handling himself really remarkably well. The guy talks about a mega pint of wine. That's you with a mega pint of wine, isn't it? What the fuck? A pint is a pint. There's no such thing called a mega pint. And then he makes fun of that. And then he reads something else twice. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something, very derogatory. Then he asks, yeah, here you go, where he asks them to read it again, and the room laughs. So he has kind of a good handle on the room, and he has this underbelly of disdain for the plaintiff or defense lawyer. But he's restrained in how he does this. So when you have a case, whether it's, and in this case it's a defamation case for Johnny Depp, and then she's counterclaimed. So I think he's asking for 50, she's asking her for 100 million. But you have to have a couple things. You think of it in terms of an equation: liability plus damages equals recovery, or time. Liability times damages equals recovery. If either one of the liability or the L or the D is zero, you wind up with zero. So if there's no liability, there's no damages, or there's no recovery. If there's no damages, there's no recovery. So if you have so in order to prove their case, let's look at who the witnesses are in this case. So you've got the security guy, you've got the house manager, you've got Johnny Depp himself, and today they had a psychologist testify. Now, and apparently, I think both parties submitted, or I know at least Amber submitted to what's called an adverse medical exam, and in this case, it's an adverse psychological exam. And she's been diagnosed with histrionic disorder and personality disorder. Those personality disorders are very dysfunctional disorder, and everything that and I know a little bit about this because we deal with experts from time to time. We deal with these diagnoses from time to time in the DSM. That's diagnostics. You'll hear the DSM-4, the DSM-5. It's the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. It's kind of a laundry list of psychological disorders with their symptoms in it, and so that's how they diagnose people. And in this case, it is interesting because you look at the videos And we'll show you a couple of these clips too. The videos where she is acting out and he's responding, he just wants to get away. But then she records this stuff. And there's only one reason to record somebody in a compromising position, and that's to use it later. And I guarantee you that's what she saw the writing on the wall. She knew she was going to be out, and she decided, well, I'm going to go after him. Now, here's the other thing that is really incredible on one of these recordings. One of these recordings, Johnny, the only reason I did that was because your people went on the attack, or something to that effect. So she basically admits that she made up the battery because his people went on the attack first, or his camp, and or at least that's what she thought. And so by doing that, I think that's probably one of the most damning pieces of information that I've seen so far. I think, and when you're sitting up in that witness chair, and I've actually been a witness in a case, and it was a personal case where I had to testify about some damage some kids did to my home, and and I didn't really have anything to hide or to gain or lose by the case, but to me it just seemed like I was, it's disconcerting sitting in that hot seat, and I think Johnny Depp, he's an actor, right? But I don't care if you're an actor or not, but sitting in that courtroom, he had a pretty good handle on the room. And I think he's done an incredible job. So when you have, so their part of the case is getting to be almost done. And when their case is over, then you will start to hear from Miss Heard's case. And Miss Heard's going to do two things. She's going to defend herself against the allegations and try to prove her counterclaim. And she'll do it the same way they did, by bringing in fact witnesses, by bringing in experts, and bringing in damage witnesses, and then she'll have to testify. You don't have the right to not testify in a civil case. If you don't testify in a civil case, the government or the jury can draw an adverse inference from that. So you can take the fifth, but if you took the fifth, the jury can draw an adverse inference from that. And so what it means by an adverse inference is that, like, for example, if somebody asked me, did you punch her in the face? I take the fifth. Well, drawing an adverse inference would mean that you can believe that I'm hiding something. In other words, well, I must have punched her in the face, because why wouldn't I say I didn't if I'm taking the fifth? See what I'm saying? We'll look at some of the comments. And this is why I wanted to do a second one. All right, so not feeling Bruce on this one. That is, okay, this is from Andy Garcia. It sucks that you got to keep saying you're not defending him on his side and over again just to be politically correct for the snowflakes. It's obvious who is in the right and who is in the wrong. Here's the thing. I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong in this, because I don't personally know. But I will have to say, when we did the other reaction, we hadn't seen all of Johnny Depp's testimony, right? And I hadn't heard, and I've heard a lot more since. Crazy Jedi 2. He's doing it to change his public perception. Before the trial started, when all this happened, everyone I know generally thought he did it. And his public image took a serious hit because people are inclined to just believe the girl most times, which is true. Now, since the trial has begun, most people, I think, see he's innocent, which I don't disagree with necessarily. Feel bad for him and think Amber is just a crazy woman and they were in a toxic relationship. More of a both people at fault thing when before everyone thought it was solely his fault. So the perception is starting to flip, and I agree with that. I don't think Depp seriously thinks he can win the case. Here's the thing. I think it's going to be an awfully difficult case for them to link up the op-ed piece that she wrote. And I don't disagree that this may be an effort on Johnny Depp's part to reclaim some kind of public sentiment in his favor. One thing that is really clear is that this chick this Amber Heard, is manipulative, needy, and abusive. I think that is absolutely clear. And I don't get and Johnny Depp, don't get me wrong. I mean, he said some nasty shit, but it didn't seem like it was to her. It seemed like when he called her, the C word, or he's talking about, fucking her burned corpse. Granted, that's not the greatest language to use, but he's talking to other people and just expressing a frustration. That's different than calling somebody a name. If you're with somebody, why would you call them a name? You pick them first of all, and if they are that, each time you call them that name, it's a little cut. It's a little cut. It's a little cut, and you keep calling him that. You're just destroying your relationship. So if you have to call somebody that, you shouldn't be with them. So I just wanted to address some of these comments. Another one from Nate. Depp doesn't need to win this case to win in the court of public opinion. No one's saying he's perfect, but clearly Amber Heard is fucking nuts. I don't disagree with that at all. And when you look at this, Amber Heard is like somebody I used to date a long time ago. We showed up one time at Nordstrom's, and she's demanding that I buy her these boots. I mean, and I'm like, okay, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So I took off. I went to the bathroom. I never came back because I just didn't want to deal with it. And I think that's one of the things that you have with Johnny Depp is that he's trying to get away. He's trying to get away. That's the current recurring theme that I see in this case. And so in that instance, when I left, I went home, and guess what? I walked through my front door, and there she was, and she fucking cold cocked me right in the face. And then I grabbed a baseball bat and chased her out of my house. I mean, I didn't hit her or anything, but it was just terrible. And so I know what it's like to date a crazy. There's no next day, oh, this is going to get better. No, it only gets worse and worse and worse, whether they're bipolar and this goes for men or women, whether they're bipolar or they're personality disorder, you can't fix it. Or narcissistic personality disorder, you can't fix it. It's ingrained. And all you can do is run away as fast as you possibly can. So these are just some thoughts. Now, one of the comments we just read talk about turning of the tide, and now it looks, the tide has turned in terms of public opinion. Judging from the comments that we've had, it is overwhelming sense that Johnny Depp is the wronged one here, and I don't disagree with that. But we haven't heard her side of the story yet. She hasn't spoken, and so this is why when you talk to a jury, you have to make sure that they can wait till all the evidence is in before they make a decision. So, some people will say, once that we hear from her, oh, I believe her, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, just wanted to give you a quick update on our observations from today's day in trial and yesterday. If you have comments, go ahead and comment on what we have to say. Would love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers. Make sure to sign up for Patreon. We're doing some pretty good work there, getting people out of jail. And sign up or follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.